Hello, family. Thank you for joining me after the 3 deep breaths into this present, beautiful moment. Thank you. Thank you for being here and welcome back to the Walk to Love, where I give you weekly updates on the walk around the world, on the adventures, on the lessons, learnings, philosophies, stories that I encounter on this path. And now I have 6 weeks that I haven't given you updates, so I have a lot to tell you. And I wrote some things down to not get lost on the telling. But last time I updated you guys was week 2, and now it's week 9 since I started to walk. So it's been 6 weeks in between, and you're probably wondering, where have you been, Marefe? So that's what we're gonna go through in this episode. Stay tuned. We're gonna talk about the finishing the walk, pausing the walk for a month to go to a rainbow family gathering. What that is, I will go through that. The experiences, the people I met there, the connections and the transformation that was there. And then what happened after that, and the current last week that I restarted the walk. So that's what we're gonna go through today. And with this beautiful background in the beach, let's get started. Let's get started. Thank you for being here. I love you so much. I want you to know that. Thank you, beautiful soul, beautiful being. Remember who you are. I remember who you are. I remember who I am. And I love you. I love you. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's get started. So here we go. Right. So last time you heard of me, we were walking through the west coast of Portugal. So the last week before taking the pause, I was basically walking to a place called Algesur, and actually more specifically a beach called Arifana, which is like not world known, but Portugal known for good surf. So I stopped there, and what happened is that I bought Annika a little gift to go to Montenegro, to this beautiful country. So I needed to actually take her there and take care of the van and the dogs, because that's what she was doing while I walk, you know. So now it was my turn to do that. We drove to Faro, which is a close airport nearby. She took a flight, and I was alone south. And just the previous week, on week 2, I talked about we were in this beach, like Hippie beach, where I met a lot of rainbow family. And rainbow families basically it's just people, right? People that see the world differently, or I would say maybe that have been able to see a bit further than the doing, than the physical world, and are more aware of how they spend their time, their energy, and actually I think they've become, I'm not saying old, but they've become more aware of really sitting in the beingness, in their body, and noticing, becoming more conscious. So I'm not saying all the rainbow families like this, but in this beach I met really special individuals, people that really we connected with, and they told me that they were going to a rainbow gathering. So I had heard that about this 2 weeks ago, but I didn't really know what it was. I know I had watched, like, at some point a video from Sky Life, this beautiful YouTuber, where she went to a rainbow gathering in the US. But nevertheless, I didn't know more. You know, I knew it was like a bunch of hippies gathered in a natural place, you know, but I didn't know that happened around the world until, well, I encountered people that had been everywhere in Nepal, Africa, all around Europe, in rainbow gatherings, right? So they were like we're going to Rainbow, are you coming? And I was very interested to see what is this, right? And so like, if you don't know, you haven't heard, you probably wonder, okay, what's a rainbow gathering? And basically, there's a lot to explain about a rainbow gathering, but I would say in like a simple couple of sentences, it's a place where you come to disconnect from the external world, to connect with yourself and earth, and to connect with whoever you're meant to connect with, in a place where time doesn't exist, dates, weeks, to-do lists don't exist, a place to be like stress doesn't exist. And just really a place to be in complete nature with hundreds of people that are there to do the same. Obviously, the intentions vary from people to people, but to put it simply, it's like a place where people gather and dance, music. So in other words, like a festival with, like a festival, a conscious, maybe spiritual, depends how you want to see it, musical festival where you just use very like primitive survival and like simple things, right? There was no electronic music, drums, guitars, flutes were used, very like, instruments like this. Also very like the kitchen there was built from the ground up, everything very natural, vegan, vegetarian food, mostly, only, well, serving for everyone, yeah. And so many things like that. And so I want to take you where I decided to drive to this place. It was a place close to Spain and Portugal in the border. And I drove for 2 days there, and I came and I met the friends that I met in this beach. A lot of them were there already. And it was so interesting because it's like vans, hitchhikers, backpackers, travelers from all around the world get this invitation, this secret location sent to meet in a place in nature. So it's like the most remote place, but somehow hundreds of people find this place, and suddenly you see, vans, like a whole parking of vans, a whole field of tents, and it's like basically, I can imagine before everyone comes, it's completely empty, just pure nature, and suddenly it starts to become like this neighborhood, like a little community that slowly more and more people are coming, building, selling some things, repairing. Everyone there has a skill set that if you need something, you can find. So you can literally walk through the neighborhood and be like, yo, I have a problem with the car. They're like, yeah, that's the mechanic. Or I need a haircut. Yeah, that's the hairdresser, So it's so beautiful, and everything is given for free, There you don't need to pay to eat. You don't need to pay to sleep. You don't need to pay for anything. Everything is really given from the heart and shared. There was a very strong feeling of sharing. This is something I want to go through later, but I really learned a lot what sharing means, unconditional sharing, sharing without any expectations to get something back. And so I came a week after the rainbow started, so it was already built up. Just like a festival, it starts from zero and you build it up. But during this week that I was there was more and more people coming, because the rainbow starts from new moon until like the whole cycle of the moon, right? So it's like a month. And full moon is sort of like the highlight day, where everyone wants to come because there's a big ceremony, a big, transformation, big gathering, a big sense of wow, happening. So I came before new moon, and that's sort of like the schedule that you have there, you know, like from new moon to full moon. So you really come to the primitive guidance of of living, you know, where you guide yourself of what time it is through the sun, the cycle of the month through the moon, and the position of the stars. So you meet people that explain you this, and also can read the weather with the stars and with observing the sky. And so it's so interesting because you meet, I don't know, you meet like all these, you know, what you see in movies and like adventures and read books about. You meet people that know and can share this for free. It's like you go there and you go to so many workshops that if you would go to all those workshops in a city, it would cost you thousands of euros or dollars or whatever. But there, everything is shared for free because you want to give, you want to share, you want to empower, you want to let go, you want to allow. And that was so beautiful. So the first week I'm there, I parked, already bonding. I told myself my intention there was to really just, you know, see if I could connect with people, connect and allow myself to just be, you know, without the mind judging myself. And my intention the first days was to introduce myself to people. So I went around, said hi, how are you, brother, sister. That's a very common way of expressing towards others there, you know, hello brother, hello sister, and also learning all the names. For me it was special. I wanted to learn the names, so I needed to make stories to relate to the names, and felt like that was special to remember people's names, you know. But really the name didn't really matter, you know, for many of them, you know. So yeah, so the first week I'm going, you know, introducing myself. There's what this calls like food circles. You gather around the circle, you sing in ceremony, holding hands before the food, and you have 2 food circles per day, and this is where you eat, and you basically form a big circle and basically sing around the big fire, and then you do a om together to open the ceremony of eating, to really, you know, paying attention and being present to the gift that we get from earth to eat every day, you know, to really appreciate that. And then basically we sit in a circle, and then they call like server connection, right? So everything you need there, you can say connection. So if you need salt in the food, you can say salt connection, and then maybe someone comes with the salt. Or if you're looking for someone, you can say a meal connection, and then someone can say, yeah, he's there, you know. So it was really funny also to see how they communicate in this huge gathering, you know, because it's at then we were 300 people, and 300 people, it's quite big, you know. It's not the biggest, but it's quite big. And there's rainbow gatherings, international ones, that are like 2,000, 1,000 people living like this. And so they call servers, and a group of servers go and they serve food to 300 people. And so the first day experiencing this, I was like, wow, really coming to like, it felt like a culture shock, a shock of reality, you know, like how one day ago I was in a city thinking everything like this, city life is normal, and then coming to a place where, you know, that's the normal, you know, and like there was this shock of like, wow, look how this works, how this functions, you know, like how we manage, how there's different ways of living. And it was so beautiful to see, and perhaps a bit overwhelming as well, because there's so many people, so many new things going through your mind, You know, things, yeah, it's just, you see families, all people from all ages, backgrounds, and they're just being them, you know. And I think that's really one of the things from Rainbow, is that you can just be you and there's no judgment at all. And it's a safe place to be whoever you want. And I think that was so beautiful, because after the food circle, we would normally gather around this big fire and play music. So they would call the artists, the musicians, and sing. And then we would dance together, and then whoever felt like sleeping went to sleep. Whoever felt like dancing until the morning danced, and like that for 30 days. But you always had the choice, right, to decide, what do I want to do? So the first days I really wanted to dance, you know. It was like a nice night routine to dance fully, like that, tribal African, all types. And there was great musicians with didgeridoos and everything, and just dancing in the fire. And then going to sleep, waking up early, and there was a beautiful river there. So there was a really beautiful place to gather in the morning to do some meditation, some yoga. And so on and so forward. Yeah. Then another beautiful thing is that after every circle, you have moments where you could call a focus. Basically, you would say, focus! And they would say something that is concerning, or maybe someone wanted to invite, you know, would say, you know, I have a workshop on, I don't know, taekwondo or karate or whatever it is, you know, or painting something or doing bracelets. And it's gonna happen after the first food circle tomorrow. And so there was always workshops going on, and after this focus, how we would gather money actually to buy food, because at the end we need this money, this energy to buy food and feed people. How they would gather is by a magic hat. So a magic hat is basically a hat, and they would start singing and going around the circle, and people dancing and singing like, magic hat, put some love in the magic hat. And people would just donate. And if you don't have nothing to donate, you just kiss, you know. And there's people that kiss for the 30 days that they're there. There's people that donate whatever they feel. There's people that give a lot of energy there. And, you know, you give what you feel. And you understand that this giving is really to support all of us, you know, because all of us are eating. All of us are doing this. All of us are in this, you know. So there's really no greed to give, to share. And I thought it was beautiful, because after, once this money is gathered, we would go on food missions and go to the local market, gather so much food. And we went with my van and 3-4 volunteers, and like to markets, and had the whole van with potatoes, salad, tomato. We went to a Lidl, a supermarket, and bought the whole veggie section. And they had 2 cash registers for ourselves to just buy everything. And it was really interesting how you're feeding 300 people, to go behind the scenes of taking care of such a big community, and being with people that have been in so many gatherings, that know in a way a bit the planning, the strategy that goes behind this as well, like how much we need, how much is eaten, how long will this last, you know. There was elders that would teach you, and it was so interesting. And then we would go to maybe the nature, gather some cactus, some rosemary, some mint, some wild berries. There was people with such knowledge that they knew what we can eat from the garden of earth, you know. And this was so exciting to see and experience. Like, wow, man, like, I don't know, I just felt like I could start seeing much more, you know, behind the limitations of growing up in a society where things go a certain way or work a certain way. This was like complete outside the box. I mean, completely like, check there, learn this, look at this, para pa, para pim, pam, pum, pa, ching, ka, sunset. So it was so beautiful. And yeah, and I think overall, on this gathering, I could go deep and explain you every single detail, everything there, but I think really what this journey was for me was to allow myself. And I say this word allow because it was really, the rainbow is a great opportunity to let go, to see and remember who you truly are, to sing like you've never sang, like you've never allowed yourself before to sing, to dance like you've never danced, like you've never allowed yourself before to dance, to hug like you've never hugged before, to see someone else like you've never seen them before, to feel someone's presence, your own presence, in a way that you haven't seen before, to feel and honor the fire in a way that you haven't seen and honored the fire before, to really honor and see things like you're seeing them for the first time in your life, to really awaken to see what they really are and who you really are. And so I think for me and a lot of people, the rainbow is that beyond a gathering, beyond all the fun, cool things, and also not to mention the adversity there, because being 300 people, there's so many different opinions and ways of doing. So of course there's some clashes that happen, but either they fade or they're solved in a right manner, in a way that I really loved. The way they solved was by solving it in the moment. If there was something happening, people would come and talk to both parts and hear their stories and see and find a solution. So why did this happen? And most of the time you understand that problem is not a problem. It's more about the person, how he or she is feeling about a certain thing or about themselves actually, and expressing it externally. And you would see that on people that kept that energy, that it was not about the rainbow or something around, it was about them. And so even if you think you go to this spiritual gathering and you will meet amazing awakened people, you also see that people are on all paths of awakening, of consciousness, of beingness, of existence, right? So there is no better or worse, no higher or lower. There's no hierarchy, there's just sharing. There's just sharing and allowing. If you wanted to dance naked because that's what you felt, you could do that and you would do that. And if someone judged you for that, then it's more about them than about you. But the rainbow was a safe place to do that. And if that would happen, the way it got solved really amazed me. It really gave me hope to see, wow, there is ways where we can find solutions, where we can actually let go of the ego, let go of that, and we can actually listen to each other, really observe and listen. And so that was the rainbow, guys. So that was the rainbow. And for anyone watching, I would keep an door open to experience one, or you don't need to experience a rainbow to allow yourself. A rainbow can help you because then you're doing it with a lot of people. But I would say to, maybe as you listen this, to remember that really the beauty of who you are is just the embracing and the allowing of you to do whatever you do. If you feel impulsively to run as a kid across the beach, do that. Allow yourself. And to keep on practicing that. Whenever the judgment of the mind comes and tells you, no, don't do that, observe it. Realize that's the old me, that's not the me now. And start slowly to let go of that version, because I guarantee you that if you're listening to this, there is no better feeling, if you've experienced it or not, to allow yourself. That's true freedom. That's what freedom is. That's what when you talk about freedom, that's what you're talking about. To allowing yourself to do what you really want to do, to become who you really want to become. That's really the freedom that you're talking about. And so you can do it without a rainbow. But if you encounter a rainbow, or some people that are into this, go. I think you would love it, and I think that if you remain open and with an open heart, you will receive so much love, and you will actually become a mirror of love. Like after rainbow, I just feel so much love, and I'm still integrating everything that I learned there, because it was a whole month. So there's a lot to integrate, but I can see also my old doings coming outside of this society. You come back to what you thought your life was, and so you're like integrating the old, the new, seeing what serves you, what doesn't, because maybe like what you saw in rainbow doesn't everything serve you, like at the end it's about you. It's not about I'm trying to fit into something, to be someone, but to see who I am already, to allow myself to be who I am, to let go of the things that don't serve me from what I've noticed and observed. And so yeah, you can do that. Also, another thing that happened there is that I had a week where I got super sick, and I needed to slow down, to let go of the doing, because the week that I was there, the first week, I just wanted to serve. I wanted to serve the food, to give. I was giving it all, how can I do to help? I saw so many inspiring people doing workshops, people that would cook every day for the whole community, that would serve every day, and I was like, I want to see how it feels to serve 300 people and feel the gratitude, and not only the gratitude of them saying thank you for the food, brother, but really the gratitude of you giving them the food of the day, the food that becomes their body, this delicious, wonderful food, and I was so all into that and not missing out on anything. And then life just reminded me, no, slow down as well. Remember the balance of the doing is also being. Remember that the being, having this relationship with yourself, with your being, with your center. First do that. First remember that. First connect to that. Now you have the time to do that. And then comes everything else. Everything else is secondary beyond the relationship to your source. to your God, to the God within you, the energy within you, whatever you want to call it, but that relationship comes first. And that's what I learned. I now had time, I was stomach ache. A lot of people got it after the full moon. And it was like a whole reset, a reset of letting go. Like everything in my body was out, nothing inside. And it was just letting go of these emotions of everything holding you back. And it was like a complete detox that I could never expect. It was a hard time, but for sure worth it, and a beautiful lesson to slow down. To remember to slow down. And after this beautiful lesson, I was getting more hyped again to participate, to go more, to connect with people, see what people are doing. But I also realized that I didn't need to be part of everything. That this sense of missing out is a story in my mind that says, you're missing out of life, of something that will happen in the future or is happening than where you are right now. And so it doesn't really make any sense, because if you feel like you're missing out of something, you're really not present in the moment that you're here and now. And the only thing that we really got is the now. And if in the now we can truly feel fulfilled, then there's nothing to miss out. And so I also understood this by disconnecting for a week, not going to any circle, workshop, not seeing people, being sick, laying down. I understood that life outside goes on. Within, with me, without me, doesn't matter. But wherever I am, I bring myself to the now. And wherever I am is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I can't be missing out, because this is exactly where I should be right now. There is something here right now that I'm learning, that I'm growing, that I'm expanding. And when the time comes, I can access that external. I can go hang out, I can go and do this. And that was truly important for me, and I think for a lot of people there, because a lot of people felt this, I need to be part, but then you're just draining your battery and not listening to you. What did we say? The first relationship, the priority that you need to start everything with is the relationship with your inner being, with your inner source, with your inner God, your inner energy, your intuition. And so life told us all, boom, go back to remember that. And then the next chapter after all this learning, which is continuously, so I don't feel like it comes and stops, now I learned everything. Still integrating, internalizing, internalize with gratitude, integrate. I don't know. But after this happens that the rainbow was slowly dissolving. Not in its essence, but the gathering was, people were leaving, less and less people was there. So it was interesting to see how this community was with less people, how you got to maybe form more connection. And I think this was one of the most beautiful parts, because just in the end, spontaneous plans happened, and a friend of ours, she was saying that she was gonna leave and she was heading to like a market. And I thought, okay, this is a great idea to leave too, you know, to live with family. And happens that some travelers would go with her, but ended up going with us. And just on the road trip down for like a couple of hours, all this little group of travelers, we connected and formed a beautiful family that was really so meaningful. And I think that's also the power of the small, you know, the small gathering, the small groups. You really have more time to connect and to see each other, to better be with each other. And it really felt a quality time with all these people, brothers and sisters, you know, to really live 5-6 people in the van, eat together, travel together, surf, be in beautiful places like this together, and just bond. And we went to an eco village and celebrated my birthday, surfing the whole day, and it was so beautiful this week, really, really meaningful. And by the end of the week, again, it happened, the balance, where, you know, there was so much time together with this family that we left the rainbow together into different adventures and bonded really nice, and met some rest of the family of the gathering in these different places. It really felt like home. But I know that after this intense being with together, I also felt nice to let go. And so the last days, everyone separated, and one went to Morocco, one went to the south, one went to the west, one to the north. And so slowly the family, you know, left, you know, but it was also the energy feeling like, okay, now it's a good time to balance it out, to integrate everything, because we just came from the rainbow, had this powerful connection and continued these adventures, and sure, we can continue, but also I felt like it was really nice that I learned to slow down in the rainbow, and I should practice this. So, you know, we had a moment where we knew, okay, now I think it's time for everyone to go their way and to continue. And I'm sure we will see each other soon, you know, because these are connections that really you form for life. People that you meet a week, 2 weeks, a day, an hour, but truly have an impact, and you know that their own presence is so powerful. The silence is so powerful. And so you know when you can have that with people, that's a connection that stays there. I love you guys if you're watching this. You know who you are. And I love you all, everyone that's watching me here. Thank you. You're family. You're part of this family, of this journey, of this expansion. And yeah, after this adventure, the final chapter unfolds, and I started walking again. I walked all the way to this beach from Algesur, from this famous surf place. And it was a bit weird to get back to the walking, but really beautiful. And I think that stretch from Algesur, now I'm in Zambujeira do Mar. If you Google that, it's part of the Fisherman's Walk. And next week I will talk more about the Fisherman's Walk for those who don't know that and want to know more. It's this beautiful walk here in Portugal, like the Camino of Santiago, famous Camino of Santiago in Spain. I will talk more about it next week's episode. But yeah, now I'm here. I walked these days in the beach, disconnected also. Had more time with Annika as well, and with the dogs and with myself, and more alone time, which I really, really love as well. And these last couple of days walking here has been so beautiful. Beach, cliffs, next to the cliffs like this, jungle, all kind of green, also like flowers everywhere, and so beautiful. And if you've been checking my shorts or reels on Instagram, I'm sure you can get updates daily on how it looks. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, for listening. That finalizes these 6 weeks. I could keep talking, but I think I have delivered this summary, this message, and I'm so hyped to continue this journey of weekly updating you on this journey and explaining you what plans, what thoughts, what ideas come, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your listening. And if you want, we can close this with an Om. You can join me on an Om, wherever you are, and we will close this episode. So let's take a deep breath in. And another one. And let's take a breath for the Om. Thank you.